with these weeds.
Are you ready? Okay, we are online. So hi on Friday Permaculture Vibes, and today we have a guest. This is Yvonne, and she helps us in the garden, but she is also very experienced, so we will learn something from her as well.
Okay, so we're looking at this kind of weed first of all, and basically I think we really need to dig, because each part of this weed can start a new weed. Any part of this root can start a new weed. You can see it's already growing out little tiny roots there, and this I suggest you put in a big container of water and leave for 2, 3, 4 months until there's no cells left in the weeds, and you can't actually recognize the weed, it's mush. Then you
don't recommend to put it in the compost actually?
No.
Because I was going kind of to put it in the compost like we do with all plants.
So there you can see that one's going to grow another bit. So if you break off
here,
if you break this piece off, well, you can't actually, the cells are so strong. This is why it's a really vigorous plant, and each part, particularly of the root, I'm not sure if this is the kind of plant that will also grow roots, but you know, if you put plants in water they grow roots, so it's probable. So okay, you put them in water, you drown them completely, then take the mush and put it on your compost, because then it's good for the compost. But with the water you can use, because all the nutrients that were in the roots and leaves and so on will be in the water, so you can feed your other vegetables.
And I know that this plant, it creates like roots 12 meters deep.
It could well be.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that they can take lots of minerals from very deep layers of the ground.
Exactly, and then give them to your other plants in the water.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that's those.
And then we have here the jars I showed you other day, but we decided with Yvonne that it's better to use another container for the slugs actually.
Yeah.
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 So maybe we can take
yeah,
a
let's
look
go
at
take
this.
a look at the slug box.
It works. I cannot say that it doesn't work at all. I saw lots of slugs there, but then we changed the container.
So nice and big and wide, so they can't squeeze themselves up through. But if you keep this now needs to be fished, and this goes on the compost, and now more beer. This is a beer trap. This is a big beer trap, because the slugs have been hiding underneath the potatoes here. You can see slug damage on these lower leaves, and it's shady and cool. I don't see any immediately, but I can see slug trails.
Yeah, but now it's sunny, so
Nice.
they are hiding.
Yeah. So these make very good traps.
Yeah, and what is the case with this like open container? Because the slugs, when we could smell the beer from like
A bigger area.
yeah, kind of, it's spread around. Instead of that jar, it's too small to feel the smell all around. So then we created these big containers. Yeah.
Okay, now let's go see if we can find some slugs in the weeds over here. So, for weeding things like this, the ground is beautiful. So basically you do this to find where the plants are, and you don't just take the leaves, because here all the cells in this little area here can decide whether to shoot up or root down. So if you just take the leaves, then you're going to have more weeds later. So it's better to do it properly. And here in this garden, the soil is so good, you can pull all the roots, and you will not have the... Now here you've got soil on there, so you just need to leave the soil here. Leave as much soil on your field, in your garden, as possible. So, ants, spiders. I always forget the name of those. No, they're not millipedes. I don't see any slugs. Ah, here we go.
Yeah,
Here you go, look.
I can see.
There's two
And
there.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're hiding underneath this because it's cool away from the sun. So you need to take away all your weeds.
If you also have problems with the slugs like we have, so keep your garden clean from the weeds, because they are hiding when it's sunny, when it's dry, they are hiding under the grass. So now we are going to take away all the weeds. Like in permaculture, sometimes I feel maybe it's not really right to take all the weeds, but if you have slugs, you have no choice with too much plants in the garden.
And always when you're starting weeding, you need to know where your weeds go. So you need to collect them and you need to be able to take them to wherever they're going to go. I have a box over there that I put them in, and they're going on the compost. These are going on the compost because there's no flowers on here, there's no seeds on here, so there's nothing else that's going to grow, and this will all rot down with the animals in the compost, and you will get more compost from that. There are 1 or 2 flowers, but they haven't got their seeds ready yet, so they can go on the compost. Anything with seeds, you should put the seeds in water like those other weeds we showed you. Okay, do you have any other?
Yeah. And maybe you can also tell us about your experience besides this trap for the slugs. What do you use in your garden? Because we discussed this topic about the slugs, and this year is extremely bad because they are everywhere. They are so much in the gardens and they eat everything. So maybe you can share as well your experience, how you keep your garden so they will not eat all the harvest.
Okay. First, like we said, keep your garden clean of weeds and take it away. Second, if you're still having trouble, where your paths are and you're not ever going to grow anything, you can put a salt solution on your path, only on the path, because the salts will
Damage the plants.
leach into the soil, and the plants will take them up. So not near your plants at all. If you're still having trouble near your plants, then make a spray of something very, very pungent smelling. Lavender, rosemary, something like that, with an oil, warm water, 3 or 4 drops depending on if it's a litre or more, and then really shake it up, and maybe 1 little drop of washing up liquid to make it disperse, and then spray on the soil so that the smell stays there. After rain, you have to replace it because the rain will wash everything away.
And we also talk about edges, because here we have lots of grass around, and it kind of helps slugs to survive.
Yeah. So yes, if you can keep all your edges clear and all the grass low, so there's no shade. It's take away their shade and then they find somewhere else.
So the sensitive spot of the slugs, it's this. They are soft and very sensitive skin actually. So we work with this.
Yes.
So we kind of take away all the places where they can hide. We have some cardboard here, and they go under the cardboard. So you need to check these places, like to take them by hands, and to keep all of the edges in the garden clean, very short grass, so they cannot hide there.
And the thing about slugs is they are attracted by the smell particularly, but also the smell of very young plants where the cells on the outside have not developed very well and are quite soft. So they don't have teeth, they kind of sort of munch and suck. So you need to make the plant strong before you put it in the ground. So if you grow it in pots or units, make sure they're strong and very strong roots and very strong stems and leaves, and you have a better chance. They maybe take 1 leaf, but they won't take them all. But if you sow in the ground and you don't have protection, then they just go whoosh all the way through.
Yeah, so I also noticed it in our garden when the place like it happens by accident that some plants they are survived when they were small, and now they are bigger, and slugs kind of don't have so much interest to them. because they are too hard to chew.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity to grow the plants in the greenhouse, like in the pots before, and then you plant in the garden, you plant like bigger plants and with more hard skin, so it will help.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and we have some plants which slugs will not eat in the garden, right?
I thought you did, but they've eaten the onions. And
Yeah, but onion still is still here.
they've eaten.
Yeah,
through
they
the
survived.
They
Yeah,
don't-
we saw the slugs on the potatoes, on the onions as well, but potatoes and onions, they are kind of okay. I think it's because they appeared before
Yeah.
it warm weather, so they already big enough to handle it.
Yeah. And there are sage, which is you've got at the end of the garden with beautiful flowers for the bees
Yeah, we have
also.
a lot.
They haven't been touched. And the weeds haven't been touched. The ones that are covering the ground, they haven't touched any of those at all.
And I planted tagetes, like flowers, but they really like them.
Yes.
So some flowers, they are just,
Yeah,
they really like.
absolutely. Special food,
Yeah.
festival food.
So yeah, we are still working on this on solution, but in permaculture we say that the problem is the solution. So we are in the process, and I will share our results. For now, we lost some plants in the garden, but I think it's good when you have your own. Like, we try several ways to deal with this problem, and some solutions is really good. So maybe I can share my own list, because before it kind of was from everywhere, but now we know for sure some really good solutions for them. So thank you very much for today, and see you next Friday. Have a good weekend.